Hi book friends, welcome to my channel, The Grape Jelly Library. My name is Flossie and I am so glad you could join me. I always look forward to your visit. Before we get started, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and my channel a subscribe so that I may continue to bring you all the bookish fun. While we're at it, when we're finished, please hop on over to Lynette Turns Pages channel and give her channel a subscription as well. We're going to do this today. This has been a long time coming. In June, my local library had a book sale, and that is where you can get a heck of a lot of books for a small amount of money. And so I took advantage of that, definitely. True to fashion, I attend this 3 times during book week. This time I have 13 books to bring you in hopes that one of these gems will be your very next read. Some of them are older books and some of them are relatively more modern. But they were either purchased for the storyline or for the aesthetics of the cover. This one definitely purchased for the storyline. This one is Zlata's Diary, A Child's Life in Sarajevo. Zlata Filipovic. She is an 11-year-old girl who wrote a diary much like Anne Frank. Intelligent, enjoying school, enjoying sports, enjoying her friends, going to join, excited about joining the Madonna fan club when war breaks out. And then she goes forth to document her experiences through war. It got so bad that they had to chop local trees down to burn, and at one point there were no more trees to chop, so they had to chop their very own furniture to burn, and they could only heat one room of their house. So no 13-year-old girl should have to endure that, but she did. I know I'm going to be extremely touched by this, and I commend her for doing this. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a toughie, but if she was willing to write it, I am definitely willing to read it. So we're going to go there. Now, another one. I've heard so many things about this book. Time and time again, somebody has come to me and put this book on my table. You know what you should read? Do you know what you should read? Do you know what you should read? I have never read it. I've heard it. I've seen it. I've never read it. Comment below if you have. Todd Burpo with Lynn Vincent. Heaven is for Real. A little boy's astounding story of his trip to heaven and back. When Colton Burpo made it through an emergency appendectomy, his family was overjoyed at his miraculous survival. What they weren't expecting, though, was the story that emerged in the months that followed, a story as beautiful as it was extraordinary, detailing their little boy's trip to heaven and back. Colton, not yet 4 years old, told his parents he left his body during surgery and authenticated that claim by describing exactly what his parents were doing in another part of the hospital while he was being operated on. He talked of visiting heaven and relayed stories told to him by people he met there whom he had never met in life, sharing events that happened even before he was born. He also astonished his parents with descriptions and obscure details about heaven that matched the Bible exactly, though he had not yet learned to read. Yes, indeedy. That was purchased for a storyline. This one was purchased for the beauty of the cover. Yeah, cream and turquoise. Yeah, and then this beautiful kind of reflection of rain, scenery. the book that first introduced Detective Dave Robichaux, a man who has fought too many battles in Vietnam with killers and hustlers, with police brass, and with the bottle. Okay, so we got some stories to tell there. All right, now this one was not purchased for the cover, and it was not even purchased for a storyline. It was purchased on account of Johnny Depp. Hunter S. Thompson was one of his close friends. This startling portrait of Hunter S. Thompson, the genius, who spent a lifetime channeling his energy and insight into such landmark works as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and revolutionized the art of journalism, draws on the recollections of those who knew him best. In their own words, an astonishing array of voices: Sonny Barger, Jack Nicholson, Ralph Steadman, Jimmy Buffett, Angelica Houston, Marilyn Manson, Jimmy Carter, and many others bring into vivid focus Thompson's creative frenzies, love affairs, drug use, and ultimately his tragic suicide. Gonzo is a brilliantly vital account of a life writ large with no excuses. I think I was in some kind of mood that day, you know, because it's summer and the heat does it to me every time. The greatest humorist this country has produced, Mark Twain, Roughing It. Originally published over 100 years ago, Roughing It tells almost the true story of Mark Twain's rollicking adventures across the United States. A hilarious account of how the author tried finding wealth in the rocks of Nevada. It was published before his most famous works and shows why he would grow to become one of the most beloved American writers of all time. The story follows many of Twain's early adventures, including a visit to Salt Lake City, gold and silver prospecting, real estate speculation, a journey to Kingdom of Hawaii, and his beginnings as a writer. Through his attempts to strike it rich, he meets a motley crew of colorful people while weaving through amusing mishaps and standing through it all with the endearingly good humor for which he's famous. The memoir showcases Twain's razor-sharp wit as well as a healthy imagination, which would later become his trademark style in Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. All right, so I have read A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, but I haven't read much more from him, so we're going to do that. Although I love him, we're going to do that. So since I've read it, why not buy it, right? A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. Yeah, so, but I bought this because it is in fantastic condition. So when a book is in this, it's practically brand new. I would be surprised if it wasn't new. So yeah, bought this just to put on the shelf. Maybe I'll revisit it one day, who knows. All right, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain. I love the way this book looks. I love the way this book feels in my hand. This book feels, you know, you get one of those feel-good books, not just here, but here. This book feels fantastic in my hands. So, and at 79 cents, you have to do a thing. You just have to. So, knowing what I know, I thought I actually purchased a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court as doubles. I said, oh, please don't let me have that book on my shelf, please, because I've been down that road too many times. And when I went to search that book out, alas, I do not have that book. It was actually John Steinbeck, The Acts of King Arthur and His Noble Knights. So not even a Mark Twain. It is a Steinbeck novel. So, oh, guess what, guys? I didn't finish this. I have my page marked at 37. So I thought I had read all of Steinbeck's works, but apparently I have not, if I have my page marked at 37. My bad. The next book that I purchased was Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, because sometimes you just need to reel it in, shut the world out, and just go into another realm, something that you wouldn't frequently visit. It does your soul good. So that's why I chose this one for a storyline. In the early 30s, Elizabeth Gilbert had everything a modern American woman was supposed to want: husband, country home, successful career. But instead of feeling happy and fulfilled, she felt consumed by panic and confusion. This wise and rapturous book is the story of how she left behind all these outward marks of success and of what she found in their place. Following a divorce and a crushing depression, Gilbert set out to examine 3 different aspects of her nature, set against the backdrop of 3 different cultures: pleasure in Italy, devotion in India, and on the Indonesian island of Bali, a balance between worldly enjoyment and divine transcendence. Okay, so Eat, Pray, Love. I am not a big movie goer or television watcher, so I have not seen that movie, so everything that I read will be brand new to me. The next book that I purchased is Gunter Grass, The Tin Drum. I kind of purchased this maybe for a little of both. The cover, and I did this. I did this because I didn't put this book nicely away in my bag. Otherwise, this book would have been in great condition, and I'm sorry to say that I did that, but I'll just chalk it up to character, and character flaws are a good thing. Acclaimed as the greatest German novel written since the end of World War II, The Tin Drum is the autobiography of 30-year-old Oscar Matzerath, who has lived through the long Nazi nightmare and who, as the novel begins, is being held in a mental institution, willfully stunting his growth at 3 feet for many years, wielding his tin drum and piercing scream as anarchistic weapons. He provides a profound yet hilarious perspective on both German history and the human condition in the modern world. We Are the Stories We Tell, the best short stories by North American women since 1945. And we have a whole slew of authors: Alice Walker, Eudora Welty, Louise Erdrich, Joyce Carol Oates, Susan Minot, Ann Tyler, Maxine Hong Kingston, Ursula K. Le Guin, Mary McCarthy, Tamara Janowicz, and many more. Yeah, so that's going to be just a collection of stories, and I'm probably going to enjoy that. Can't get bored when there's a collection of stories, right? Because if you don't like one, there's always one waiting in the wings that you just might love. A Long Life's Highway. Who do we have? George Z. Keller. I don't know who he is, but I bought this book for a reason. It definitely wasn't for, yeah, the aesthetics. Baby's first birthday. Keep a smile in your birthdays. There's nothing so fine as the glow in the eyes of that baby of mine, when he looks on the cake with icing so fair and beholds the bright light of the candle placed there. There's a prayer in my heart that I breathe every night as I think of the gleam from the tiny white light. May the years that will follow as time marches on find a song in his heart long after I'm gone. Be his life long or short, be it stormy or fair, may he still wear the smile that is now pictured there. May he grow to be manly, stand up for the right, and always be found with his face towards the light. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And may all babies know that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Pilgrims Wilderness, a true story of faith and madness on the Alaska frontier. Tom Kizia. When Papa Pilgrim appeared in the Alaska frontier outpost of McCarthy with his wife and 15 children in tow, his new neighbors had little idea of the trouble to come. The Pilgrim family presented themselves as a shining example of the homespun Christian ideal, with their proud piety and beautiful old-timey music, but their true story ran dark and deep. Within weeks, Papa had bulldozed a road through the mountains to the new family home at an abandoned copper mine, sparking a tense confrontation with the National Park Service and forcing his ghost town neighbors to take sides in an ever more volatile battle over where a citizen's rights end and the government's power begins. The Pilgrims Wilderness veteran Alaska journalist Tom Kizia unfolds the remarkable story of a charismatic spinner of American myths who was not what he seemed, the townspeople caught in his thrall, and the family he brought to the brink of ruin. As Kizia discovered, Papa Pilgrim was in fact the son of a rich Texas family with ties to Hoover's FBI and strange oblique connections to the Kennedy assassination and the movie stars of Easy Rider. And as his fight with the government in Alaska grew more intense, the turmoil in his brood made it increasingly difficult to tell whether his children were messianic followers, hostages in desperate need of rescue in this powerful piece of Americana. Written with uncommon grace and high drama, Kizia uses his unparalleled access to capture an era-defining clash between environmentalists and pioneers ignited by a mesmerizing sociopath who held a town and a family captive. Good Lord. What am I going to get myself into with this one? Don't know. That's why we have this light read. Bowl Away, The Giant's House, Elizabeth McCracken. What an awesome name is that, McCracken. That's a beautiful cover. So I'm going to say I bought this for the cover, not the storyline. Let's see what the storyline is. From the day she is discovered unconscious in a New England cemetery. Nope, might have bought it for the story too. From the day she is discovered unconscious in a New England cemetery at the turn of the 20th century, with nothing but a bowling ball, a candle pin, and 15 pounds of gold on her person, Bertha Truitt is an enigma to everyone in Salford, Massachusetts. She has no past to speak of, or at least none she is willing to reveal, and her mysterious origin scandalizes and intrigues the townspeople, as does her choice to marry and start a family with Leviticus Sprague, the doctor who revived her. But Bertha is plucky, tenacious, and entrepreneurial, and the bowling alley she opens quickly becomes Salford's most defining landmark, with Bertha as its most notable resident. When Bertha dies in a freak accident, her past resurfaces in the form of a heretofore unheard of son who arrives in Salford claiming he is heir apparent to Truitt's allies. Soon it becomes clear that even in her death, Bertha's defining spirit and the implications of her obfuscations live on, infecting and affecting future generations through inheritance battles, murky paternities, and hidden wills. In a voice laced with insight and her signature sharp humor, Elizabeth McCracken has written an epic family saga set against the backdrop of 20th century America. Bowl Away is both a stunning feat of language and a brilliant unraveling of a family's myths and secrets, its passions and betrayals, the ties that bind, and the rifts that divide. So there we have it, 13 books. I hope one of them will be the next read or a very near future read for you. I think I am going to enjoy that little stack. Yeah, looking forward to getting to all of those soon. That is my video for today. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and have a good day on purpose.